Hey guys, welcome to the video for you guys. In today's video, we're going to show you how to check if your iPad is real. Now, this is for someone that might never have owned an Apple product or you never owned an iPad and want to make sure if you're getting one that it is the real iPad from Apple and it is authentic. So, a couple things about the iPad here. First thing you need to know before you even consider is that iPad comes in two different types. One is just simply on Wi-Fi only. That means it works on Wi-Fi, and then there's one that's Wi-Fi plus cellular, which means it has cellular capability. So those are two types of iPads. And when it comes to iPad, if you go on Apple's website, you'll see that there is 4 types of iPad that Apple sells. So what are the 4 types here? So to give you guys the picture here, if I click on iPad here, you'll see on the very top here, there's iPad Pro, which is the most expensive one, iPad Air, and then the regular iPad, and then the iPad Mini as well. Generally, it goes from more expensive and pro grade to some of the lighter ones, and you'll see there's 4 types to get. So here, what I'm holding here is one of the Pro model, which is a 3rd generation 11-inch one. So a couple things to know. So there are 4 types, and then they come in 2 different types: Wi-Fi only or Wi-Fi plus cellular for cellular data connection. So that's one thing first you have to understand. Now, for any Apple product, one of the biggest ways to check if it is a genuine Apple product is by doing a serial number lookup. So how do you do that? You go into settings here, which should open something like that, and most of the iPads that you'll have, you get something like that, and you go to general, and then you go to the about page, and then in the about page, you'll see a couple things here like the iPad OS version. Now this version should be 16 is the latest one right now, but if your version did an update, you might be on a lower version. But you'll see down here there's a serial number. What you want to do is copy that serial number by pressing and hold. You're going to copy that and then close this out, and then make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi if you're on a Wi-Fi only iPad, or if you have cellular data, make sure you get cellular data. You're going to go ahead and open up this Safari app, which again, another thing is you want to make sure it opens up, and then you open up a web page, and then you'll do a Google search for Apple serial number lookup. So if you do that on Apple's website, they have a coverage check, which allows you to check the coverage and at the same time check if it's a genuine Apple product. So all you do is come here, paste it in, or type in that one, and then you'll type in this gotcha code. So let's get a good gotcha code here. So try to do it again. So I'm going to type that in, go HPPZ. So this one you don't need to, it'll be different for you, but you want to get that serial number typed in and then do a continue check. And then what you should see, it should match up something like that where it says that it is the genuine Apple iPad. It will come up like that. If it doesn't come up, again, that's not a real iPad. So you should see the name of the iPad here, which should match up to what you have here. As you can see here, iPad Pro, and matches of the model number here. And that's the biggest check when it comes to checking if your iPad is real. Now, if you find that you're still skeptical or want to do other checks, there's other things you can check to kind of make sure. And the next thing you can check, again, if it passed the serial number for the 95% of the time, it is a real Apple iPad. But if you're still skeptical, the other things you can check is make sure that when you open up settings, there's an option to sign in, and you should be able to sign into existing Apple ID account, or you can create one, which will be a prompt like this where you type in your Apple ID and then you enter your password and it should connect. And you also should see these apps which are available on your iPad. So that's the other thing. And then you have iCloud here. Now, other things to check is the App Store here. So every iPad has an App Store. If you open up the App Store, it should load up something like that where it says, welcome to App Store, and you should see a person icon up here with your profile, or at the bottom here, depending on the way you have it, and that should already be signed in with your Apple ID and password. And if it's not, you can create one, but your app should look something like that. Again, important, because if you go to App Store or go to Google Play Store, that means it's not running on iPad iOS, which means it's not a genuine Apple product. If it takes you to some Google Play Store or some Android store, again, that's not it, because only Apple products, or like the iPad itself, can only have the App Store and be able to download these apps. So another important thing to mention. Now, moving on to the next thing you can check if you really want to make sure that your iPad is real for sure, it's to make sure Siri is available on the iPad. So Siri is a voice assistant on Apple products, and to check that, you can go to settings, and once you go into settings, you'll be able to find Siri and search, or Siri, whatever version you have, and you should have things like Hey Siri and all of that you can activate. And for example, for this iPad, if we hold this button up top here, we'll be able to activate Siri, which will enable here. So we'll enable that, and you can see here, do not. Look like you have an app named NBC. So as you can see here, Siri is activated when we press this button. That means that it's working. This is on iOS 16, so if you have an older version of it, it might be slightly different, but that's how you activate Siri. So it's important that your iPad had Siri. Now the next thing to check if you're still skeptical is take a look at these apps. So your iPad, if you're running on the latest version, should have similar apps at the bottom here, where you have the dock here, you have the message, you have Safari, you have things like music, mail. These are default apps. And then, of course, folder, which is the new one, and app store as well. You'll see these icons look pretty much the same. Now, if they look different and they're running on iOS 16, most likely they're not real, or if they customize it, it could be that they're custom design here. So those are some default apps to check out. The next thing, of course, you want to check if you're still skeptical is connect your iPad to your computer. If you have a computer with iTunes on it, or if you're a MacBook on the latest version, you can use the Finder, and it'll also pop up similar thing. If you connect it, if it's an iPad, it will say iPad and the version of it. Again, another further step you can do, not necessary, but again, you can do that as well. So those are the basic things when it comes to checking if your iPad is a real iPad and a real Apple iPad and it's authentic. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. We want to hear from you guys. What are other ways you can quickly check if an iPad is real? Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section while you're at it. If this video is any help, please make sure that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.